How's everyone doing today? This is the first video in a series of videos where I'm going to go through and verify some trigonometric identities for you. So in this case, what we're trying to do is to show that the quantity secant theta plus tan theta times the quantity 1 minus sine theta is equal to cosine theta. So we're going to work on the left-hand side of the equation because it's customary to start off working on the side that looks like it's going to be more challenging first. So the first thing I like to do when I see a scenario like this where we have two quantities being multiplied together is actually multiply those out. So let's go ahead and use a distributive property to multiply this out. Secant theta times 1 is secant theta. Secant theta times negative sine theta is negative secant theta times sine theta. Tan theta times 1 is positive tan theta. And then tan theta times negative sine theta is negative tan theta sine theta. And again, we're trying to show that this mess that we have on the left-hand side of the equation simplifies down to cosine theta. So the next thing I'm going to try here, since we're trying to represent our final solution as cosine theta, I'm going to try to rewrite secant theta and tan theta in terms of sines and cosines. And sometimes when we do that, nice things start to happen. So let's see what happens if we do it that way. So secant theta is 1 over cosine theta. Minus, we see secant theta again. So that's 1 over cosine theta times sine theta. Tan theta is sine theta over cosine theta. Minus, we see tan theta again, that's sine theta over cosine theta times sine theta. And again, this is all supposed to equal cosine theta when we're finished. So it looks like we've created an even larger mess here on the left-hand side of the equation. So let's try to simplify this down a little bit, clean it up a little bit, and see what happens. 1 over cosine theta, we're going to leave alone for now. Here we can multiply these two fractions together, so we have negative 1 over cosine theta times sine theta over 1, so that'll be negative sine theta over cosine theta. Right here we have plus sine theta over cosine theta. And then down here at the end, again, we need to multiply those two fractions together, so we'll get minus sine squared theta over cosine theta. And again, this is all supposed to simplify down to cosine theta when we're finished. Now, if we look, some nice things happen over here on the left-hand side. First off, we have a minus sine theta over cosine theta plus sine theta over cosine theta. So those are going to zero out. And what we're going to be left with is 1 over cosine theta minus sine squared theta over cosine theta. And what you should notice here is that these two fractions have a common denominator, so we can rewrite this as 1 minus sine squared theta over cosine theta. Now 1 minus sine squared theta, you remember from your Pythagorean identities, is actually equal to cosine squared theta. So we'll make that replacement. And then finally, cosine squared theta divided by cosine squared theta is just cosine theta. So after all of that, the left-hand side of the equation, secant theta plus tan theta times the quantity 1 minus sine theta is equal to cosine theta.